I'm going to share with you the true cost of ownership. Some of you have heard it as the true cost calculus. If you're an HVAC technician, comfort advisor, whatever, this is a great exercise for you to show the homeowner. That being said, let's just play a quick scenario here. My scenario that I'm going to play real quick is this system is roughly around 12 years old. We got a $1,200 repair on this unit, and let's just run that scenario real quick. I always set this up with the homeowner. Say the homeowner chooses the $1,200 repair. Before I go start doing the repair, I go ahead and ask a little bit more questions. And what I ask is, hey, Mrs. and Mr. Jones, before we move on and actually go ahead and get this repair taken care of that you chose, what I would like to do is play a quick exercise with you and see if this repair actually makes sense for you and your family. And this little quick exercise is called the true cost of ownership. Earlier, I asked you, what do you think an average life of an air conditioning system is? And you told me roughly around 10 years. You're exactly right. It's roughly around anywhere from 10 to 12 years, depending on if the system's been maintained, if it was installed correctly, all that great stuff. Now, that being said, your actual system is roughly around 12 years old. You can tell that in the model number and the serial number of the actual unit. But that being said, let's go ahead and do this quick exercise to see if it makes sense for you and your family to go ahead and do this repair, or should we look at other options? Today's repairs are $1,200. And if you want to get 5 more years out of this existing system, wouldn't it make sense to go ahead and put a budget aside for future repairs? Typically, you hear the word, obviously they say it makes sense. What's the yearly budget that you'd set aside for these future repairs? What does that look like for you? Let's just say they say, I don't know, Jake, I think it's going to be, let's say $400 a year. So if you're paying for yearly maintenance, and then also in that yearly maintenance, what happens if there happens to be some kind of major repair that needs to happen, or the system breaks down? What would that cost be for you? Homeowners will give me an example of, I don't know, let's just say, Jake, it's going to cost me $500 a year. Now, what I do is I take 500, and remember, they want 5 more years of life out of this 12-year-old system. 500 times 5 equals what? So if the customer wants to get 5 more years and their budget is $500 a year, you multiply 500 times 5 more years, and that's $2,500. Remember, today's repairs is $1,200. That's the option that you chose to go ahead and get this system working the way it should be working. If you want to get 5 more years of life out of this existing system, you just told me a yearly budget of $500, and also you multiply that times 5 is $2,500. Now, that being said, you got utility overpayment. The older the system gets, do you think it is more efficient or less efficient? Well, we've been in this house for a few years. I don't know what the previous homeowner did, if they actually maintenance the unit. Utility overpayments could be, say, 25% on the low end. So say you have an average electric bill of around $300, and you're gonna save around 25% on your utility bills. I always ask them, what's your average utility bill right now? And they say just, I don't know, $300 a month. Take 300 times 25%. So you take $300, always make the homeowner do this, times 25%. All right, that's $75 a month. $75 a month times 12 equals $900 a year. And then you take $900 a year times that by 5 is $4,500 over the next 5 years. So I'm going to put $4,500 right here in utility overpayment over the next 5 years. And the next one is inflation. Hey, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, do you think prices are going to go up, or do you think they're going to go down over the next 5 years? Well, Jake, they're actually going to go up. The national inflation rate used to be around 4%. Now it's probably closer to 7+%. So let me ask you this. If you think parts, materials, labor, all that great stuff to be able to get services is going to go up over the next 5 years, what would be a yearly budget that you would put aside for that inflation? I don't know, $500, Jake. So 500 yearly or 500 over the next 5 years? 500 yearly, or 500 over the next 5 years. So I just put a simple $500. Then what I do is just add these numbers up, and I get a total. So you take 1,200 plus 2,500 plus 4,500 plus 500 equals, that's $8,700 over the next 5 years that they're going to be spending and giving away into this older system to keep it up and running. And I always tell them, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, we can definitely do this repair for you today. It's no problem. But after looking at this exercise, I just want to tell you, by keeping this older system and just keeping it maintenance and running and making sure there's no major additional repairs going to happen over the next 5 years, we don't have a crystal ball, but it could happen. We don't know. But you are going to be spending and giving away your money over the next 5 years. Now, you can keep spending and giving away your money, or we can look at more long-term options. How should we proceed from here? And so sometimes they're like, oh, Jake, I don't want to spend $8,700 spending and giving away my money over the next 5 years. What are those more long-term options? Well, what that would look like is actually taking and replacing your entire HVAC system. Those long-term options is I'd give you a couple premium, mid-range, and economy options and let you choose what works best for you and your family. If I was able to make that happen and give you something that's really affordable, what would happen then? Well, Jake, I'll go ahead and look into it. It depends on the price. So if I can find a way to fit this into your budget, what would happen then? Well, it just depends on the total cost. So are you looking over the total cost, or are you looking at more of a monthly investment? If we could get this thing all wrapped up and be able to finance this for you at a very low affordable cost, and you're able to save anywhere from 25 up to 50% on your utilities, what would happen then? Dang, Jake, I will go ahead and do that. All right, let's go ahead and design something specifically for you and your family. That's just layer one. The next step is always ask these things called the 6 questions. If people want to look, remember, I got a 12-year-old unit, and people want to look at a more long-term option on here, I ask them 6 questions. It's super simple. And really what it allows is a homeowner choose an option for themselves instead of me telling them what they should and shouldn't have. I let them participate and let them figure out what works for them. So the 6 questions, I always tell the homeowners, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, these 6 questions are very powerful. We're going to design a complete package that is the most important to you and your family. We're going to rate these on a scale from 1 to 10. 1 being not very important and 10 being the most important to you. Now, let me ask you a quick question. How important is safety for you and your family? Oh, Jake, that's a 10. We want to be safe. Well, when I talk about safety, especially when it comes to your air conditioning system and your heating system, is there are certain things that we can put on the unit. For instance, surge protection for the indoor, outdoor, these things called SS1 float switches. What that is, Mrs. Jones, Mr. Jones, if the water backs up into on your drain line and your drain pan gets full of water, what it's going to do is actually shut off the unit so it doesn't overflow into your attic and ruin your sheetrock or ruin your floor. And then also, if you happen to have any kind of surge issues with your lightning strikes or power surges throughout your neighborhood, this unit is going to be fully protected. And that's the most important thing, is we want to make sure that not only you are safe, but also we protect your investment as well. Perfect. Now, the next question I'm going to ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, is how important is reliability to you and your family? Now, reliability, when I talk about that, when we install a system, the most important day of a life of an HVAC system is the day it's installed. That being said, some of these systems come with very long warranties, especially 10, 12 years. Also 10 years of labor, 10 years of maintenance, where you literally do not have to worry about anything. It's literally peace of mind. Now, when we talk about reliability, how important is that to you and your family? Oh, Jake, that's a 10. Next one is efficiency. Now, when I talk about efficiency, remember earlier you told me you were paying around $300 on your electric bill, and we could save you around 25%, give or take. Now, when we talk about giving you some efficiency savings, there are some systems that can save you up to 50% depending on what package you choose. That being said, how important is efficiency to you and your family on a scale from 1 to 10? Oh, Jake, that's also a 10. I love saving money. Who doesn't? Next one is, how important is clean air for you and your family? Well, Jake, it's a number 10. Some of our package, actually what we can do is put what we call a UV light on this coil. So that way it kills any kind of organic growth, bacteria, viruses that flow through that coil. And at the end of the day, we want to keep that coil extremely clean and not restricted at all. So that being said, it's still a 10 for you? Yeah, it's still a 10. Also, what we do is we put an EnviroPure air purification on this unit. And the EnviroPure air purification, what that does is as it passes through what we call your supply side, I'll explain that here in just a minute, it'll purify the airflow that's coming throughout your house. And so you are breathing healthy, clean air. And the next big thing on this clean air is we're going to put what we call an April air media filter on this unit. So that way it keeps the equipment clean. When we talk about filters, how important do you think filters are? Do you think filters actually keep the air clean, or do they actually protect the equipment? I don't know, Jake. Well, great thing is filters are made to protect your equipment. The next one I'm going to put on here is, how important is comfort to you and your family, Mr. and Mrs. Jones? Dang, I want to be comfortable in my house. I want to be very comfortable. That's a 10. Let me explain comfort to you real quick. Comfort isn't just the ability to warm and cool your home. Comfort's also the ability to control humidity and sound. Is that still important to you? Absolutely. It's a number 10. Now, last one is convenience. How important on a scale from 1 to 10 is convenience for you and your family? Jake, that's still a 10 as well. Real quick, when we talk convenience, now there are some systems out there that not only have intelligent thermostats that you can control from your phone, but I say at the end of the day, convenience is if something does happen to happen with your system, you're gonna have a company come out here within the next 24 hours to take care of you and your family. If not sooner, you're on priority service, and literally it's a text message away from us coming out here and taking care of you ASAP. Now, that's if you're at work or wherever you're at. It's just the convenience of knowing that you have a company that's gonna take care of you and your family if something of an emergency does happen. Now, that being said, how important is that to you and your family? Oh, Jake, that's a 10. Perfect. I'll make a joke at the end. Well, congratulations, you scored a 60 out of 60. You passed. And sometimes what you'll see in this is I always draw a line here. Sometimes you'll have the wife on this side. Sometimes you'll have the husband on this side. So if I erase this, you have the wife on this side and you have the husband on this side. Now, when we look at this, sometimes homeowners will want to play the game themselves, husband and wife. And so sometimes I'll see wives will score like a 60 out of 60. Sometimes husbands will score, they're pretty close actually, all the time. I've never really seen many homeowners that are too far off from each other. So you got a husband will be 55 out of a 60, right? And so the next thing I do is always present my options next. And I'm like, Mr. or Mrs. Jones, it looks like we've got a few different packages for you. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you 6 different options. There's gonna be 2 premium, 2 mid-range, and 2 economy options. And I'll let you and your family choose what works best for you guys. And I'm gonna tell you actually the benefits and advantages of each one and what you told me what was important to you and your family. The next one is we got our premium option. I always scale them like this. People name their packages differently. Platinum Plus, you got the platinum, gold, silver, bronze, and then just builder grade. Or you can say basic or economy. So I got my different packages here on my solutions that I'm gonna go over with them. And my top option is gonna be the most premium option. This top package here is it's actually the most highest efficient system that's out there on the market today. Literally, this one will save you up to 50% on your system. What we're gonna do with this unit is we're gonna completely rejuvenate not only your ductwork, we're gonna re-engineer it completely. We're also gonna put a very high efficient system in your house, what we call a variable speed. And actually, I'll go into that here in a minute. This one actually comes with a 10-year parts, 10 years labor, 10 years of maintenance. It also comes with what I call a 5-stage air treatment on this bad boy, or you can call it whatever your packages look like. This one also comes with all the safety features on it that we talked about. That being said, based off your scores of what you scored earlier, this tells me that you guys land right in between these 2 packages. Mr. Jones scored a 55 and Mrs. scored a 60. Now that being said, it tells me that these packages right here in the middle, both of these, are gonna be the most important to you and your family. So let's go ahead and talk about this top one here. Now keep in mind, this top option just may be way too long-term of a commitment for you and may be too premium of an investment, but I think I would be providing you with poor service if I didn't give you all your options. And again, my number one goal here is to provide you with 5-star service and give you all your options so you can make an educated decision at this point. Does that sound fair? Absolutely. Sounds fair, Jake. Next thing here is I start going over all my options and I start telling them, you got different packages here, and I always try to scale these packages, and we can go on this along with this in another video, but I always scale the packages here. I got my premium, 2 here, 2 mid-range, and 2 economy options right here. All right, guys, hopefully this was helpful.